Okay, so in today's video I have got part 1 of the Lego Harry Potter Diagon Alley set, so if you want to see me build that, then keep on watching. Okay, so I first of all started by taking all of the bags out of the box, and to be honest I didn't actually realise how many there was going to be. So there was all of those actually out on the in the main box, and then all of these were in like a big white box inside, so there was kind of like a box inside of a box with more bags in it. And I think in the end there was something like 40 odd bags or something, because most of the numbers actually had 2 bags. So like you just saw there with number 1, I had 2 bags to open. There was a couple that actually had 3 bags, and for a little while I actually thought that I was missing loads and loads of pieces, but it turns out that I actually had just left a really small bag in the bottom of the box by accident. But yeah, with this one, because obviously there was so many bags, and I did the same thing when I built the Hogwarts Express. I took all of the bags out of the box and then put them back in sort of like reverse number order, so the last bag went in first kind of thing, so then I didn't have to like empty the box every single time I needed a new bag. And then also I kind of knew if there was 1 bag, 2 bags or 3 bags. Obviously that quite obviously didn't work all of the time, especially with the smaller bags that sort of like slip down the side, and yeah, but for the most part it worked, and it was a good system, and it helped me stay a little bit more organised, especially since I actually built this over 4 weeks, I think it was. It's kind of hard to remember now because I built this in 2023, as you can see by the fact that we're going back to my old setup. But yeah, I do actually have a few more videos filmed in this old setup that basically I just completely forgot to post, or I was like putting off the editing for it, like this one, because I knew this was going to be such a big task to edit. But I've literally had like however many hours worth of footage like saved on my phone for 2 odd years, well almost 2 years, so I thought at this point it's definitely time to get it uploaded. So yeah, like you've probably already figured out, depends on what point you're watching this. If you're watching it in the future, then you'll know. But yeah, I'm going to upload this in 4 parts. So there's obviously 4 buildings within Diagon Alley and 4 books. So basically I'm just splitting it up into the 4 different books, which just so happens to be the 4 different buildings. So yeah, obviously this is the first one that we're doing, and yeah, they took me so long. I think in just this first book alone, I think I have almost 5 hours worth of footage. So yeah, I think there was about 20 hours worth of footage altogether, so cropping this down and editing it down has been quite a task. But I haven't actually cut anything out of the footage, other than when like my camera might have died or something like that, but that wouldn't be very much at all. But yeah, I haven't cut anything out of the footage, so it basically means that I had to speed it up quite a lot, as you can probably tell. But yeah, I didn't cut anything out because I don't know, I just felt like, I feel like these videos are a lot better when you can actually see every single step. I mean, obviously I know this is going quite quick, but yeah, obviously if it wasn't sort of this quick, then this video would be so long, and I would probably have to split it up into even more parts because it would be just completely absurd how long it would be. But yeah, most of these bags were taking me like an hour each, but then I feel like it's kind of understandable when you look at how much I've like poured out of that bag. I feel like it's definitely understandable for it to take a long time, especially when you're not actually adding to the building. Obviously, like to begin with, you have to build up a whole base layer, and then on top of that there are parts where obviously you put sort of the building to one side and create little things to either go inside or create like the roof separately and then put it on top. I feel like that makes it go so much slower as well, and it makes it seem like there's so much more to do and like you haven't really done anything. But yeah, with these sets as well, obviously with there being so many large pieces, I feel like once you've got a lot of the large pieces out of the way, then it feels like you've done way more than you probably actually have. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this set, and just like watching this back, obviously as I'm editing it, is like reminding me of when I built it, and yeah, how much I loved building it. It definitely took me a long time. I feel like this is probably the set that took me the longest. I have, of the collector's sets, I have obviously this one, I have the Burrow, I have the Hogwarts Express, and I have the Hedwig, I think it's called like the Icons collector's set. So it's Hedwig with like the books and all the different bits. There's a chocolate frog, there's Harry's glasses, there's a wand, there's a scarf, there's a few different bits on there. I think that was actually the only one that I never actually filmed, because I got that just before I started actually filming these Lego videos. So yeah, unfortunately there was never a video made on that. But yeah, of all of the collector sets that I have, this one definitely took me the longest. I feel like the boxes were very similar in size between this one and the Hogwarts Express, but I just feel like obviously these are like 4 quite big kind of bulky buildings, whereas obviously the Hogwarts Express is a little bit more slimline. It's not as big as this. I think it may possibly be longer, but yeah, Diagon Alley is obviously built up a lot more, and there is a lot more sort of small details and small parts going on. So yeah, this one definitely took me the longest out of any set that I've built previously. Looking back on this as well, I also wonder how I ever even built Lego in this space. I feel like where I film now and where I build now, the space isn't that much bigger, but I just feel like it's set out better, and it just provides better filming on top of anything else. So yeah, the Lego is definitely easier to build where I film now, but I also just feel like generally it's just a lot better. So yeah, I'm really glad that I do actually have a different filming location now, rather than still being here. Yeah, because I feel like as well, as I started building these buildings up, I had to keep sort of checking to make sure that it was actually still in frame, and obviously at this point it wasn't, so I had to push the camera up a little bit, and then you kind of almost see more of the background than you do actually what's going on. But yeah, I am definitely grateful for the filming location that I have now, instead of still being here. But it served its purpose at the time, and it's fine. You can see what's going on, it's not a problem, but I do just wonder how I ever actually filmed here in the first place. Because I just feel like I have so much more room now, and it's so nice and freeing almost. It's great. Even in this room, like when I filmed Hogwarts Express, I built that on the floor. In this room, I literally didn't even have room to film it on the floor. I probably would have had less room if I filmed it on the floor than where I'm filming it currently. Obviously, I would have had more space to sort of film all of it instead of having to keep moving the camera up, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't have had very much space to film on the floor whatsoever. So yeah, the room that I'm in now is so much nicer for filming these videos and for just building Lego in general. Even if I didn't film them, yeah, it's just so much more comfortable, so much better. So yeah, looking back on this is definitely making me feel really grateful for the space that I have now. I also just love all of the little like details in this set. Like obviously you can see the chair in there, and just the different details actually within the shop, because I feel like for the most part, I know a lot of people like to say that the inside of the buildings aren't necessarily that great, but I feel like realistically you're going to have this one displayed sort of like with the front of the shops facing out anyway, and with it being a collector's set, it's obviously not designed to be a play set, so realistically if they didn't put anything inside, then it kind of is what it is. But I actually really like the insides of these ones. I think, yeah, for me personally, I think they're great. Like I say, like all of my Lego sets are just put on display anyway. They're not sort of designed for me as play sets, so even if it is actually meant to be a play set, for me it's just displayed anyway. So the issues that some people have with the inside of the sets isn't necessarily something that I have an issue with. I mean, I can definitely understand why some people do, but for me it's just not something that I actually really think about too much. But yeah, I really do like the details in this set. I mean, for example, the inside, hopefully you would have seen it, but I believe I do sort of show it at the end. But there's like a staircase in this one which swings outwards and then pops back in again. So I guess really if you wanted to use it as a playset, then you could. But obviously with it being a collector's set, I personally wouldn't. But yeah, obviously those cool features are there if you did want to. So yeah, I do think that is really cool. And all of these little pieces were for me were a bit of a pain putting together, and after a while they were a little bit repetitive and I did get a little bit bored of building them. But after they are built and they're put in position, they look really great. So although they are a little bit of a pain to build and a little bit repetitive, in the end they do definitely look worth it. And yeah, I really like how they look actually within the set. Yeah, I definitely feel like there was a lot of sort of like thought and detail kind of put into this set. I mean, I know there's definitely going to be people who disagree with me, but for me, in terms of the Diagon Alley sets, this is definitely the best, which obviously you should expect with it being the collector's edition. But then the smaller one that they did this year, I think it was, that was no, I was not a fan of that whatsoever. I don't really know what that was about. I'm sure there's plenty of people that love it, but definitely not for me. I would rather have this set and then buy the Gringotts set separately, which hopefully I should be able to get Gringotts sometime soon. So if you do want to see me build Gringotts, then please do let me know. Obviously it will go with my Diagon Alley set, although my Diagon Alley set is actually in my old room and there's not actually room near it to put Gringotts, so maybe for now we'll just have to put Gringotts on its own. But yeah, I also can't wait to move so that I can actually have my Lego displayed how I want it to be displayed and set out how I want it to be. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I mean, we're sort of a few years off that yet, but when I finally do get to that point, I will definitely document it, because I am really nervous about having to move with Lego, because I'm not going to be deconstructing it. I am just going to try and transport it as it is, so that will definitely be interesting. But yeah, when the time eventually comes, I will definitely document the process. And hopefully it will be easier than I anticipate, but probably not. But anyway, you can see here that we are coming to the end of the first building. We're just putting the chimneys on and the signs out front of the shops. And then yeah, this is basically the first part of Diagon Alley complete, which is Ollivanders, and I can't remember the second one. But yeah, we're just popping a owl on, and then that was this one done. So that was everything for part one. If you want to see what comes next, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and the next part will be up next Wednesday, so definitely make sure that you come back for that. But yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.